Thank you for tuning in. It's another Saturday live stream. Here, I'll go like that so I'm not like too looking away from the other people there. TikTok and Instagram right there. YouTube's more important, so no offense. In fact, any one of you guys, you go over to the Marty Music on YouTube right now. Go click on that one, it'll help me out. But whatever, it's all right. So let's see, I'm looking at your comments. Love seeing all of you people tuning in. I'm gonna do some shout outs later, but the point of this live stream is that it's the, back to school sale, I guess you could say. Marty Music back to school sale. So martymusic.com, on YouTube, you can actually see the pinned comment right there. You can click on that, but there's a checkout code at martymusic.com. And you can type in all caps fall sale 24 and you'll get 50% off all courses at martymusic.com. And I was looking and there was about like 35 different courses. Some of them are like bundled, so it's harder to know exactly the amount of courses that I've made at this point. But 50% off fall sale 24 all caps. martymusic.com, it'll become 50% off. So someone said, Marty, can can you play some Foxy Lady by Jimi Hendrix? Well, it's funny. One of the courses at Marty Music is inspired by Hendrix, 50% off. But actually the Hendrix course, there's a bunch of cool techniques on there. And so since someone brought that up, in fact, let me know in the comments things that you're trying to get better at guitar. Let me know what you're working on with your guitar abilities. And that way I can immediately plug one of my courses, you know? But also I could actually talk about some of those topics, you know? You know, put my kids through college, folks. My daughter's in college. My son is hopefully going to go to college, so that's what the sales are for, people. But like for instance, I do have a Hendrix course, and one of the most classic Hendrix things you can do is take like a major chord like E major right here and play what's called the inversion. So instead of playing this, I can take my index finger and bar it across here and then add a whole step up on the A string, and that's a E major chord inverted. And so that was one of Hendrix's favorite ways to play a major chord. Then another thing Hendrix is known for, and I'm going to go, you know, to some other courses, the Hendrix chord itself. You know it's got to be Hendrixy if there's actually a chord in music that's named now after Hendrix. It wasn't originally, it existed before Hendrix, but Hendrix used it so much that guitar players shorthand call it the Hendrix chord, like this. Stevie Ray Vaughan would use that chord, that voicing, and he'd play it with an E, like an E major chord in the blues, like, and he would sometimes stab the Hendrix chord up there, like this. You take an E major chord, and then cover the 3rd fret B, 3rd fret high E. That's Hendrix, and you can check out the Hendrix, Inspired by Hendrix course. But, you know, since I'm here plugging away, and I just talked about Stevie Ray Vaughan, I've just finished. And so even if you're not in the mood to buy from my fall sale, checkout code FALLSALE24 for 50% off. Even if you're not in the mood today, that's okay. But I've got, or if you've already bought everything. Greg Levinson, for instance, one of my greatest supporters, Super Chat. Greg Levinson, thank you again. Appreciate it. But so I have a brand new Inspired by SRV Texas Blues course that's not out yet. So you can sign my newsletter and get some free courses, but then also get notified when the Stevie Ray Vaughan Inspired by course comes out, which is going to be in a few weeks. So while we're on that topic, just to tease that, there's this classic pentatonic lick, but with some outside notes that he's famous for. So if Hendrix is famous for, Stevie Ray Vaughan's got this Stevie Ray Vaughan lick. Actually, I'll even go that, single coil. Rye Guy with the super chat, like a tip jar, yeah. That's awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. So, okay, so that's a Stevie Ray Vaughan.
We got a galaxy from somewhere. I think that's good.
A galaxy on TikTok?
Yeah.
I don't know what that is, TikTokers.
But thanks.
I'm gonna hold all my energy and not to say those words that you don't want me to say. The brain rot words. I can't get away with that. You know.
Somebody was asking if you were a Sigma in YouTube. Actually.
If I was a Sigma, see, I just said it now. I just ruined it. Thanks a lot. But we're just quoting.
Just quoting.
We're quoting what someone else says.
Yep.
I've got Matt here, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up for Matt. Woo, Matt. Matt's reading the comments. Okay, so let's see. Something that I think people need the most of in guitar learning is beginner. You know, there's more beginners and people that have always wanted to play the guitar that maybe have put it off or thought it was impossible. I used to think that playing guitar required a magic skill of talent that you have to be born with. And you know, yes, you can be more naturally gifted artistically or musically, but you know, I had that that barrier in my head that thought, you know, I couldn't play guitar ever. And then I actually learned how to play guitar, and I learned guitar later in life, which I think is why I got really into being able to teach guitar, is because I had that thought process of like, oh, I'll never be able to play guitar, or watching people play really amazing up and down the neck and everything, going, whoa, like that's a magic trick. And so when I actually did learn guitar and go, oh wow, it wasn't as hard as I thought, that also made me excited to like teach those things that were you know, the things that I learned to other people. And so that's part of the reason why I started teaching guitar. So yeah, so beginner stuff, there's a lot of beginner content that I've done at Marty Music. So I have a bunch of beginner electric, so like how to play electric guitar for beginner, but then also beginner acoustic as well. And I've got beginner blues, which can be on electric or acoustic, and then I also have acoustic blues. So, you know, and then there's beginner theory on there, Music Theory 101, which can give you just kind of a good background on like how music works. I also have a caged method, bunch of licks inspired by Hendrix. Also, if you're already a beginner or you're not sure like what gaps are missing in your skill set, I have this intermediate foundation. And so what that is, it's just like what I think all the information you need on guitar to be like past beginner and past intermediate, like where there's no gaps. Like you should need to know the pentatonic scale, you need to know the major scale, here are the, you know, 5 main chord shapes you need to know, a little bit of theory, all of it's in one course. And so that's the intermediate foundation as well. And so if you use that checkout code, all caps, fall sale 24 at martymusic.com, and on YouTube, you got that pinned link right there. You can click that, check out all the different courses, and in the checkout code, there's a little, you know, checkout coupon code, put fall sale 24 in there, and you'll see the price will be cut by 50%. One of the other ones on there is like pentatonic exercises. So a bunch of different like patterns that help me get better at soloing. Stuff like that, that's on there. So were there any, did anyone put in any topics that they're trying to improve on?
Will the intermediate apply to acoustic too?
Yeah, the intermediate, I think I'm mostly on electric on the intermediate foundation, but yeah, it'll apply. So for instance, before you get too crazy with scales and music theory, you gotta know a C chord, an A chord, a G chord, an E chord, and a D chord. And then after that, you need to know E minor, A minor, and D minor. And between just those chords, all of those shapes then carry on into the rest of like scales, melodies, arpeggios, all of that. But if you don't know those basic chords first, you're kind of skipping some steps. Let me show you what I mean. If I took an E major chord and you memorize that, turn that off. All the fingering is the same for a bunch of other chords. So that's why it's important. For instance, if I just scoot it over, now it's an A minor chord. Go back exact E major. But if I just look at these two notes of that E major chord, so the D string and the G string, that little piece is actually a bunch of other things. It's this part of a C chord. It's this part of a G chord. You know, if I go back to the E chord, that part of it, it's the foundation for a blues lick. So that's why you need the foundation, because it's easier then to branch out into all these different things. Just that one chord I played you actually is all these other things. For instance, it's also that little piece, which is part of the E chord, it's part of a C chord, it's part of a G chord, it's also part of the D chord. Sometimes you use different fingers for it. But that little distance there, when you just memorize one chord, you may not realize at first that you're actually helping yourself with like thousands of other things. So that's why if you have the foundation, it can go off into everything. That same little piece, if I scoot it over, the little comments and everything are so tiny that my little chubby finger like doesn't always like, I might like turn the live stream off by accident. So I'm like, if you see me going like that, I'm like,
Somebody talks about all the minor pentatonic scales. I think that one's free, right?
yeah, 5 shapes of the minor pentatonic at martymusic.com. That's free. But the most important thing that I would learn before memorizing the 5 shapes of the minor pentatonic scale, actually what's better is to learn the E root minor pentatonic. So let's just say the key of A. So I think you should learn this first, but it's in that intermediate foundation, but they also have a whole lead guitar, you know, section of martymusic.com. The Tasty Zone bundle, soloing for beginners is actually the newest course I've made. And that's where I get into this. So before you memorize, which is still good, but before, right, we're talking about the order of steps. Before you memorize the 5 shapes of the minor pentatonic, what you really want to do is be able to be proficient in the first shape of it so you can play licks and like improvise a little bit. Then it becomes way easier when you start memorizing the other shapes. So that's just more of a way to play, you know, learn the stuff in the most efficient way possible. So. And for instance, there's little like easy little signature licks you can learn before you start memorizing everything. I'm just in this first position. Check out this lick. Pretty easy, but it creates some new things that you don't normally do when you learn the scale. So that lick is 7, 5, 7 on the G string, but then 5 on the B, rolled over to 5 on the G, and then the root on the 7th of the D string. But watch, here's another great technique. You can play a little lick like that, or just the pentatonic, but then in between some of the licks, play the A7, so from the key of A, A7, D7, and E7, you know, the 4 chords of the blues. Mix the pentatonic with those chords, and it'll actually help your ear develop some of that blues style. So watch. I'll do that lick I just explained. so all I did was one lick there, but I also like, if you've played the lick long enough, then you probably heard me, I didn't go, I didn't do it the exact same way every time. I played that lick a million times and then I could go, but then the next time I could vary it. So I didn't play the last note there. So I did go up into that, but that is in the Tasty Zone bundle. This thing I did. Everything I was just doing right there, that's all considered the BB box. So I have a whole course on the BB box that's part of the Tasty Zone bundle. And isn't it so tasty? But so everything I did there, almost everything I did was just in that first position of the pentatonic. So I didn't go and spend days and weeks memorizing a bunch of shapes. Instead, I took the one main shape that everyone learns first, and they should. Hey, Tomo, everybody, Tomo Fujita is here visiting, and he thinks the BB box is very tasty, as I do, and I love Tomo. He teaches at the Berklee School of Music. It is live, Tomo. Oh, I just proved it's live. He said it's live. That's right. So much love to Tomo. He's such a great educator and guitar player. And someone said the legend himself. Josh Norco says, Tomo. Yes, sir. Tomo Fujita, yes. He's so funky, so busy teaching the next generation. In fact, my friend here in Nashville, Jake Baines, you guys should check him out. He's going to be on the channel at some point in the near future. Young 22-year-old ripping guitar player. And a great attitude. You'd think that shouldn't be rare, but it is rare. Right, Matt?
Yeah.
Matt comes from tour managing, so he knows all about it.
Babysitting.
Yeah, professional babysitting. Band babysitting. It's harder than the toddlers.
Yeah.
Actually, very similar.
Yeah, totally.
You know, if they don't get the right snack at the right time. Where's catering? Why are we doing this again?
Yeah.
When do we get to the hotel? Okay, so I lost track there, but thank you, Tomo, for chiming in. I appreciate it. And you guys go check out Tomo's channel. I was just kind of going through some different stuff just to remind you that I do have this fall sale, back to school sale, whatever the fact. Greg Levinson, Arpeggios. That's a great topic. Great topic. Now, if I played a D major chord, I could, not everyone has the notes memorized, and there's a lot of other things that will help you get better guitar before you memorize the notes. And when it comes to memorizing the notes, actually just memorize start to memorize the low E and A string first. That's the most helpful thing to do, because that's where you plug in all your chords and scales originally. Like if I want to play an A major chord, I can find an A note on the E string. But if I want to play an A minor chord there, I'm still finding that same starting point. So it's very valuable. And if I want to play the A major scale, it's the same thing. But I still found it right there. And if I want to play an A blues chord, A7, you know, or other fancier chords, I can reference that knowing the root and then not play the root, like a fancy A9 chord that I play like this. I'm not even playing that, but I'm still referencing it by how I'm finding the chord. Fancier chord, but I still was in that only main position of the minor pentatonic. I will say this too, Stevie Ray Vaughan, mostly, I mean like 95% of his soloing was just in that first position. So if you think about that, one of the greatest blues guitar players ever was staying in the one position. It probably tells you that that's getting tasty in the one position is actually probably a better idea than memorizing all 5 shapes of the pentatonic. Not to say it's not good or important, but we're talking about getting to, you know, playing as efficiently as possible. So if I'm going to talk about like, you know, that can start beginner and then go all the way to Stevie Ray Vaughan, who's still using that spot. What's cool about that is home row is what my friend Bob Ryan called that first position. Home row, I like that. It does date your age a little bit because that home row comes from typing class. Typing class. Matt, see, even Matt, do you know?
Dude, I was a pro.
Yeah, but have you heard home row? Mm-hmm. Home row is the main keys that you rest your fingers on. Those little dots on the key, that home row.
They still got them.
They still got them, yeah. They're still, even for us old guys, they're still on there. You can feel them on your fingers. But, okay, I'm getting distracted. I hate when that happens. Oh, yeah. So the home row, right? But that's still not memorizing all the scales. What you do, instead of memorizing 2 more scale patterns that you would just like sit and memorize, which is still not bad, but Bryce Kahn bought a bunch of courses with that 50% off, and he almost feels bad, like he was ripping me off. I gotta say, no, thank you so much. That's the whole point of the sale, is to get, you know, opportunities for you guys to, you know, get in there and learn guitar better. Okay, so instead of memorizing 2 more shapes, which if it was shape-wise, it would look like this. Still the key of A. You could sit and try and memorize this. another one. And then this one. So now that's 3 completely new patterns that you would have to memorize. Instead, think of the main one that you've already worked on. And then just learn how to extend it lower and extend above it as still the function of the 1 scale. And I think that's a lot more valuable. So watch. You would just add 3 and 5 and 3 and 5 and then slide into the home row. And that little piece of it is great for like riff writing, you know, not just soloing, but those lower notes are where those, like, I mean, a lot of Tom Morello riffs are right in that little spot right there. Jimmy Page riffs as well. And it's just an extension of that first home row that you learn instead of memorizing a bunch of shapes. So you could do, and then you'd have 8 and 10 on the B and 8 and 10 on the high E with the slide up. And then have this little finger, first little tricky thing in that is this little finger change right here. But so instead of learning 3 new shapes, it's still the same scale, and it would look like this. The other cool thing is if you're just practicing this, where do you go from there? Nowhere. No, but you have to learn, you don't run out of room as much if you have this kind of diagonal approach. So let me think of something here. Certain keys, what's really fun about it is that you can just go up an octave, play the exact same thing. So the key of A, you can do that. Everything I just played is just up an octave. And that, there's a whole course on that. It's called Advanced Guitar Faces. Well, it's there's Guitar Faces 101, then Advanced Guitar Faces 201. Not really. Although you never know. Anything over there, Matt?
Some new trend, and everybody's saying it's time to oil up. It's on TikTok. I don't know.
Don't even want to know. Don't even want to know. I'm glad I can't see it. I'd be so distracted if I was seeing that over and over. Oil up, man. Interesting. Okay, but so that you can do that exact same thing up an octave. Let me start over. I'm trying to, I like to learn these lingos and stuff. Anything else?
There's a lot of Nirvana
A
requests.
lot of Nirvana requests. Okay, fair enough. They are great. So that whole thing, if I find the octave, I do the exact same thing. And I'm literally at the top, literally the last fret. So someone asked in the comments there if that's the same thing, because I am playing that was an A minor thing, but someone was asking if that's the same thing as Mixolydian, and no, it's not. Mixolydian is from the modes, and so I do actually, that reminds me, thanks for that wasn't planned. I didn't pay that person, right, Matt?
Right.
It's not you, is it?
Nope.
Okay, it's not Matt. See, proving it. But I do have a modes course. And what's cool about the modes is like you learn the pentatonic first and get good at soloing and all that. But then there's half steps you can add. You can think of it as the pentatonic, which is one way I teach it. We have the pentatonic scale, but you add half steps to make it a 7-note scale. And those are like the extra colors. But you can also think of it with how it relates to the major scale. So that right there is actually the C major scale, all the white keys on the piano. Everyone on piano learns that first. So I find the note and I play that pattern. Right? But when you talk about a mode, what you're doing is right now I'm playing this pattern and playing the C note and playing it first and last, so our ear hears that as the tonal center. I'm just going back to that root so we hear each note. If I take one of those other notes and we start and end it with that as the tonal center, that is what a mode is. It's a mode, it's a different shift or function of that same major scale pattern. So if I started and ended on the 5th note of that major scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's a G note. So if I play that same scale, but think of G, I'm still playing, but instead I'm starting and ending on the G note. And so C major is all the same thing as G Mixolydian. And you have to like kind of start to learn how it relates. But I could play a C major scale over a G7 chord or a G dominant chord like G13. And I play the C major scale over that, and now I'm playing G Mixolydian, and that's all related to the modes. But I think you should learn the pentatonic first, because even the most tasty soloing with modes still has that pentatonic feel. So look, I'll do a G dominant 7 and play that G Mixolydian over it, so you can hear what that sounds like. I play it that way, where it's like real laying into just the notes of the scale. Everyone always says Grateful Dead. That sounds like the Grateful Dead. And they did use that scale a lot, but they didn't just use that scale. But here's where it goes back to the pentatonic. I can use those notes. But if I can see the pentatonic, I can still get bluesy whenever I want. What's cool about that though is I could just go G blues and then have that be a whole new sound. So here you're gonna hear it. I'm gonna just play over that again. I'm gonna start with the G Mixolydian, then I'm gonna go straight to the G minor pentatonic blues kind of stuff. And you're gonna immediately hear it change. And so here it is. Exact same scale though, nothing different. I can play an A minor and think of the A note, which would be the sixth of it, and now you have the A minor scale, or A, if you talk about the mode, it's A Aeolian. Let's check this out. Exact same scale. Same scale. Let's see, another cool thing about that exact same scale is I can play another set of chords and still play the same scale though. Same scale. Another way to play that. Heart for You, 199 super chat. Can you do the Wish You Were Here strum pattern for the song part? Yeah, you can check out my tutorial on Wish You Were Here. I cover all that. You can just look in Marty Music, Wish You Were Here. It'll show you the whole thing, how to play it. But a whole other thing with that same note. Like a more science fiction, that would be Lydian. All right, so just to recap, you guys, and also thank you so much for tuning in. Also, TikTok with the phrases. Any new phrases on there that I need to know about?
Nah, but I looked it up. The oil up is exactly what you think it means.
Leave it at that.
Yeah.
We'll let that one sit for a minute.
Good question here. Dave first wants to know, after soloing for beginners, what do you recommend? Intermediate, foundations, or lead guitar phase 1 through 3?
Yeah, if you do the beginner lead guitar course, I would actually, like, your best bang for the buck, because they're like cheaper courses, would be lead guitar phase 2 and phase 3. Phase 1 covers most of the stuff in beginner lead guitar. It's just beginner lead guitar is newer and just covers more ground as a straight beginner course, as opposed to where 10 years ago I broke it up into phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. So I would say I would definitely recommend the lead guitar for beginners over lead guitar phase 1. They're both valuable, but they cover the same ground. But if you do beginner lead guitar, which is brand new, then go to lead guitar phase 2 and phase 3 and get those, and that's the path. That's the path. Someone said, what's after the modes? If you've worked on the modes, definitely I really like my intermediate foundation course because it's a guidebook. It's instead of like taking some topic, it's like all the info that you should have for your foundation of playing guitar in the order that you should learn it. So that way it gives you don't get distracted by stuff that might not help you in the right order of steps. So the intermediate foundation, I think honestly everyone, that's probably one of the most, just for like guitar skills, knowledge, technique, probably my most valuable course. Because I was really thinking of like, what's the like bare minimum in the right order that if you want to be a solid guitar player. I call it intermediate because I had so much beginner stuff already. But even, I think anyone learning music, if you have that, it's like, you don't get bogged down with stuff that's maybe not going to help you play and have that, foundation. Santa Monica by Everclear. That's a good one, Heart for You. Thanks for the super chat. Now, Matt, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think I have a lesson for that one. Because there's been a few interviews I've done, at least one. Do you remember who it was?
This was Carter
from Future Birds, who I saw out yesterday walking around, and he had a Future Birds t-shirt on. It was funny. He looked very happy. He's a happy guy.
Yeah.
So this band Future Birds that I played with at the Ryman, first time I ever got to play the Ryman in Nashville was with Future Birds, and they've been on the channel. And he said that was the first thing he ever learned on guitar was Santa Monica by Everclear. Real easy riff. I'm going to teach that one. Help me remember, Matt,
on it
to teach that one. So I'll get back to you on that. Someone said the fake Scouser. Okay. I don't know what that means, but you said you did her acoustic guitar lessons. They helped so much. Thank you so much. All right, so we're pretty much almost over here with the live stream. Went by pretty fast. Kathy G, hey. Your favorite part of the modes course was when the Dorian mode made with all the cool grooves. Thanks, Kathy. I always say it every time. And Greg Levinson, thank you. You guys are also such great supporters. I really appreciate you. Kathy and her daughter went to my live gig in New York City. And Kathy, she was happy to do it, but it was, it's a no easy task. But I actually had Kathy come up on stage and play with me and the band. Did we play Hey Joe, Kathy?
I think so.
Matt was there, yeah. That was fun. That was tight. That's my Jonah Hill. That's what he says. That was tight. Someone says, who's my favorite band? Well, the easiest answer to like just go straight away is the Beatles, because they kind of wrote the book on all the music that we play. But I like a lot of bands, I like, Josh Norco was there. He says, Kathy killed it. Nice work, Kathy. That was so cool. That was so fun. I just did an event here in Nashville at the Gibson Garage that I do about every 6 weeks, although it had been longer than that since the last one, because we've been traveling around and stuff. But that's called Back to Basics, and that whole point of that event is that anyone that's brave enough can come up and play with me in the band, and you don't have to be an experienced guitar player. You can be there was a tourist in there once, because I asked out into the audience, has never never played guitar ever, and this dad tourist with his kids was brave enough, brave enough to, he's definitely not watching right now, but he raised his hand and I was like, get up here. And I literally just said, can you go like this? And he did it. And then I went and went through the whole thing with my finger. And he was just like, oh my God, that was a magic trick. I'm not going to play that whole song. Hopefully that was, what was that, 4 notes? I don't know how they get claimed. Nick Nitro. Yeah. Nick Nitro and the Nitros. Hey, dude, you're a legend. Thanks for the videos. I'm a professional musician now, and your tutorials got me into music, which led me to meeting my wife and my career. You'd think that was not real. That comment's so good. The name is so good and the comment's so good that you'd think like, that's like Matt on one of his 8 devices over here. Okay, should I go Tell me when to do the Nick Nitro one. Now, Nick. Or Matt. I mean, Nick, no, I'm just kidding. Nick Nitro, here's why it's real. He paid $20 for that comment. Not only did he say like one of the nicest things you could say to me, he also just gave me $20. You could have bought a course with that, Nick. Okay, yeah, which reminds me, which has been fun. I've been trying to go for an hour with these, and we did really well today. And I enjoyed talking about topics as opposed to just doing all song requests. But just to recap here, and I'll give some updates, you know, just people still watching, so here we go. So I've got this genie lamp. It's a genie lamp, right? Mm-hmm. Not a bottle. Genie in a bottle, baby. Genie lamp, right? Matt, help me.
Yeah.
Lamp, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Matt, I need you. Matt, come here, I need you. Okay. Does that not seem right that I'm doing that? Matt? Okay. Use checkout code fall sale 24, all caps, at martymusic.com, and you'll get 50% off all my courses. Fall sale 24, all caps, no cap, all caps. Oops, I just did a little brain rot there. All caps, fall sale 24. You will get 50% off all courses at martymusic.com. While I'm doing this, and once again, yes, is it inappropriate? The numbers are going down as I do this. Everyone's leaving. No one's there anymore. Oh no, I blew it. Okay. A couple other updates. You could just go to that link, but then just sign my newsletter, and you'll get free courses for that too. Oh, now there's oil connections with this. I wasn't thinking about that. When people talking about oiling me up, is that what they were saying? That's really embarrassing.
Oil up.
Oil up, baby. We got this. So, some other updates. Oh, we went an hour, so good. We're done. Okay, never mind. No. Contract obligated. Contract finished. Other huge news. So sign the newsletter. Huge news. I basically took. Oh no, there was a bad comment, but
That's where it came from. Okay.
okay. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by the comments. We already went an hour, so it doesn't matter anymore. I started just using like what I've done for the last few years. Well, 16 years to be exact, 17 years. And just thought about some other things I could do with what I've learned, like the skill set of, I mean, obviously guitar, yes, but the digital education, building out lessons, producing lessons, websites for the lessons, and putting it all together, and finding transcribers and a production crew, editing, all the elements. So I just kind of started reaching out to some of my like artist friends about possibly helping them make their own like masterclass style courses, not for Marty Music, but for them, but just as like someone who has a lot of experience, more as like a producer, director, curator of the content. So I'm happy to announce in a few weeks, the very first masterclass that I produced for someone else is coming out. And so I'm a producer of it, so I have an interest in it, but it's not for Marty Music, it's their product. And so the first one coming out in a couple weeks, sign my newsletter to be notified, is he's never done one before. I had to talk him into it. I had to pitch him on it. So let's not let him down out there. It's Marcus King, ladies and gentlemen. Like, epic, epic, epic. I'm so excited to say that I helped make a Marcus King masterclass. And it's for him, you know, so it's something he gets to sell it as shows, and it'll be online, and that's just like such a cool thrill to work with someone that I love his music so much, and his guitar playing and his songs and his singing, everything. So we made that. That's coming out in a few weeks. Somewhere after that, for me, for Marty Music, I'm going to be coming out with that Texas Blues inspired by SRV course. So that's going to be right after. And then right after that, I already have shot, and it's not edited yet, but I shot and produced a masterclass for my other friend, Jared James Nichols. And man, he's a really good teacher too. He's a great player, great guy, big muscles, a great vest. But I produced a Jared James Nichols masterclass, and that will be his product, So instead of like, if you guys are familiar with like the company True Fire, it's like a website with a bunch of different guitar players' courses on there. I thought it'd be really cool to help those guys, but have it be their product, not for some other company or website. So the first one is Marcus King. The second one is Jared James Nichols. The third one, should I even say the third one? Might as well. The third one's epic, and he's never done one either. So I was like going through who should do one of these that hasn't done one yet, and why haven't they done it? So the third one, ladies and gentlemen, which will be still before the year ends, Phil X. You heard that right. Phil X, Guitar Masterclass. So he's coming out here to the studio in a few weeks to shoot his own masterclass. So I'm really excited to be like, doing this new kind of aspect of what I've done for so long, but for other people. And also I can wear sweatpants, don't wear the fedora. I'm wearing clothes, but I can, oh no, we're getting into trouble now. And then we have a pitch out to the fourth one that we want, and that's another epic blues guitar player. I won't say who it is because he hasn't agreed yet, but I'm feeling good about it. The fourth pitch is another epic, level, Marcus King level, but has never done a guitar lesson or masterclass ever yet. So that's the fourth one we're going for, and we've got pitches out to a bunch of other people. Someone asks, what's your opinion of Justin Guitars? As in Justin Guitar, Justin Sandrico. He's a good friend of mine. We've known each other, both of our, for 16, 17 years now, and he's a great guy. All right, some shout outs because we're done. I already went past the limit. So, Love Milak, where do you recommend buying cheaper pedals? Like Reverb.com, Craigslist, you can find used pedals and deals. Local music stores that have used pedals, because a used pedal, as long as it works, there's nothing special about it being brand new or not. So you're going to save a ton of money if you find a used pedal that's discounted. Moses Mendoza, hi. Ishi Modeste. Speen, who's your best guitarist ever? We go with Hendrix with that answer because it gets asked a lot. UFC edits. Can I play One by Metallica? I've got a lesson for the first part of that. Josh Norco, thank you so much. Bob Allman, thank you so much. Greg Levinson, Heart for You. Cody Lown, thank you so much. Bonnie Knight, ZXT Legacy. You've never seen a live stream before. Every Saturday, 1 o'clock Pacific time. Jamie Mendoza again. Awesome. A. Trip. Patrick Meany. Elliot Edmonds. Carlos Azena. Astronality. Gideon Fasica. Ozzy Farrow. One of my oldest viewers I've ever had, Ozzy Farrow. Jonathan Hazlitt. LV Sweets. With the comment LV Sweets. Maybe that's meaning shout me out. LV Sweets. LV Sweets. Wi-Fi Kush. Sorry, the letters are really tiny. JP, hi. JPA, hi. The Artist Carefree. Audrey Sims, another super loyal supporter. Thank you so much. Ibarge or Ibarge. Glenn Duya, thank you. also Fletcher. Check. Oh man, sorry, I went by too fast. Adam McNamara, what's up? Dave first. Thank you, Marty and Matt. Ah, it's nice that you get Matt in there. He just gave you the horns. Thank you. Bob sucks 2345. Okay. You said it, not me. Stang 518. Ishi Modeste. Oh, I like that. Michael Nakoniewski. Sorry, I tried. Another weird one. Roger Harvey. Daniel Murnane. Sean Workema. Thank you. Rampant Music. Bass Guru. Ricky Spanish. Lo-Fi Shapes. Luke Mug. Raisin. Bayambera in Malta. Incognitus Maximus. That's a good one. Incognitus Maximus. I like that. Edgar Veda, the artist carefree. Oh, thanks. He says mine are the easiest lessons. Yusuf Mortadi says King Marty. Thank you so much. And market research, when I rub on the genie lamp, views go down. LMAO Luck. It was still fun doing it. I don't regret it. Because a lot of stuff has come true that when I've rubbed that lamp. Naeli, thank you. I showed them their first chords. Cameron Davies, Stang 518, Intense Blue Devil 2, Heart for You Again. Man, you just gave me enough super chats to buy a course instead of Marty Music. But thank you. Angry Pork Chop, thank you. Ibar J says he needs one of those lamps. Death metal student. Well, that's a topic I'm not very good at. Death metal. Darren Sean Mason. Some Joe guy says I'm Sigma. Okay. I'm going to end with... Oh, and Ishi Modeste says, still looking young. Thank you. Well, when you do what you love, you stay young. I don't know what that is. All right, I'm going to end with a jam because why not? We've been going for 70 minutes. I really appreciate you guys with the comments, all the support. Once again, martymusic.com. Check out code FALLSALE24. It'll be 50% off. That ends Monday. So Monday at midnight Pacific time, that promo code expires. You know, you have to set a time in the website for the promo code, so that will expire. And yeah, just appreciate you. Marcus King Masterclass coming out, so sign the newsletter, even if you don't want to buy a course. SRV, inspired by SRV Texas Blues, that's coming in a few weeks or a month. Sign the newsletter, get notified of that. Jared James Nichols Masterclass, sign the newsletter. Phil X Masterclass, sign the newsletter. That's a lot. All right, one more jam. Here we go.